What is going on, fellow cake eaters? It is your pal Woe here, and it is time for another rant. So today, we're going to be talking or ranting about exclusivity and malware. It's not going to be totally bashing our friends at Epic, but yeah, Timmy's going to get put on blast. It's about Epic. So, a good internet mate of mine, who actually works in the game industry, and I were having a conversation this morning. And it came up that we're hoping some title upcoming didn't land on the Epic Game Store. And I kind of said, yeah, if it's on the Epic Game Store, I'm out. Epic Game Store is a malware engine. He's like, I hadn't heard about that. What's up? He didn't assume a defensive posture, like, well, I work in the games industry and you're just being mean. You're one of them hateful, angry consumers. No, I mean, he genuinely wanted to know what was up. So I kind of broke it down what my issues with Epic were. And they're really twofold. And I think this is important. I don't expect you all to take up the same mantle I have, but I think it's good to share information so that you can make informed decisions and think for yourself, right? So, issues with Epic both as a software platform as well as a company. Issue number one are exclusivity schemes. What Epic is doing is throwing buckets of cash at developers, both in the form of payments as well as a more developer-friendly revenue split than what the competition, Steam, GOG, etc. are doing. And this is causing developers to take titles that either have not been earmarked for delivery on another platform, so Steam or GOG, or in some cases being extremely skeevy and taking content that was earmarked for delivery by, say, Steam or GOG, and making it an Epic Store exclusive for a term of at least 1 year. Well, why is this bad? Well, this is bad not because we love Steam and think that Gabe would never do anything to hurt us. That's a very naive position to take. It's bad because it cuts down on consumer choice. We don't want to just shop at Amazon. We don't want to just shop at Walmart. We want lots of stores so they can compete against each other, get prices down for the consumer, but then also put more product out for the developer. And that's an important facet of this. Because I like easy numbers, we're going to just run easy numbers. These are imaginary numbers, and are not indicative of what some of these titles may or may not sell for. But let's say that we go Epic Store exclusive, and we sell 60 units of whatever it is at $50 per. Now, if we were to put it out on other platforms, our price may be driven down by the free market, which I love and adore, by the way, but our prices may be driven down by the free market to around $35 or $40 a unit. Well, bollocks, we're making less money. But we're going to sell more units. Would you rather sell 50 or 60 units at 50 per, or 100 units at 35 or 40 per? Well, there's more math to it than just the units perks. Like I say, there's a revenue split. A word on the street is the Steam revenue split is around 75-25, and the Epic Store is around an 88-12, and Epic's throwing bundles of cash. But I'm in my car, so I can't show you the math, but the math could be made to work depending on, how many variables are present. The other thing to consider is a lot of these games are either live service products where you want to get your product in as many people's hands as possible so they can go to the store and buy supplemental items and cosmetics and houses and yada, yada, yada. Or there is planned DLC or post-sale content planned for that product. So would you rather sell that content to a small group of people who have paid 50 per, or a larger group of people that have paid 30 or 5 or 40 per? Me, as a business person, I would rather have my product in lots of places. Even if I made a little bit less money up front, I'm going to do more volume and then have additional opportunities for either live service or DLC post-release content sales after the fact. So there's issue number one. Exclusivity sucks. The other issue is that Epic Game Store has been caught doing some incredibly skeevy things in terms of user data. They are scraping a lot of metadata from users who have installed the product. Doing things like parsing root certificates and accessing files from other programs. I won't beat you all down with a bunch of technical stuff. If you want to have a technical conversation about it, I'm not afraid to do so, but in terms of me ranting in the car and trying to keep this video short, just know that it is going and accessing folders belonging to other software and scanning DLLs or other processes germane to the operation of a PC, okay? Where this gets extremely bad, above and beyond like parsing out root certificates, what the hell are you doing, is that they're grabbing metadata from Steam, what games you have installed, who your friends are, how long have you been playing those games, what time, what dates have you played, how many hours have you invested, etc. They're doing this by going into the Steam directory and grabbing files willy-nilly. Steam, as a company, actually has what we call an API. It stands for Application Programming Interface. It's basically a door or a service that says, if you want to access some user data with the user's consent, here is a library, or here's a set of instructions for how to do it, and here's the code that we've already baked in the product for that purpose, so long as you have user consent, and you click here, here, and here. Well, Timmy, in his infinite wisdom, decided that wasn't quite good enough, because somebody might fucking say no. So they just dive into the Steam directory and start grabbing this shit. That's a problem. Oh, but well, you have Windows on your computer and Microsoft, man. Get out of here with that. That is a straw man, okay? I'm not naive enough to think that Microsoft is our little buddies, but we're not going to go down that rabbit hole of how evil Microsoft or Google or anybody else is. We're talking about what Epic's behavior is. Yes, I'm not naive to the fact that each version of Windows progressively grabs more and more data and uploads more and more telemetry to Microsoft on different aspects of your use. I'm also very aware that there's counters to that, and it's actually disclosed what's going on. Epic went through a backdoor, grabbed a ton of stuff, not in terms of gigabytes of data or anything, but a ton of valuable data. Your data is a commodity. They did so not only without informed consent, but they circumvented some of the very protections put in place by other software vendors. Now, what do I mean informed consent? Well, whoa, it's in the EULA on page 475 in 4-point font. Yeah, that does not qualify as informed consent. That may be them meeting the bare minimum legal standard in some courts, but that's not informing the consumer. That's not acting in good faith. A lot of courts will say, hey, you know what? Burying your terms of service, which is flimsy at best, burying something in your terms of service, which is flimsy as fuck at best, on page 473 in 3-point font, isn't getting it done. You're not informing the consumer. You're not acting in good faith. That is predatory. It borders on usury. So I am steering clear of the Epic Store until changes are made. And this doesn't mean you capitulate to what I say, or I'm going to boycott, and I'm going to protest. No, I'm just simply not going to give you my money as long as some of these conditions exist. As long as you're scraping metadata, going through backdoor channels to do so, I'm out. By the way, 40% of your shareholders have ties to the Chinese government, Chicoms. Now, hold on. Stop. This is not McCarthyism. Oh my God, the communists are all going to die. In order to do business in China, you have to have ties to the government. It is a communist country, okay? Just real talk. This isn't the Red Menace and, oh, we're all so scared and get the tinfoil hats. The bombs are about to fall. But just in terms of in sharing information, and full disclosure, I have a wife who is a purchasing manager for a company that has assets in Taiwan, has assets in Vietnam, and does business in China. She goes to mainland China every year. I'm scared shitless for her right now. But anyway, I have a little bit of knowledge on this subject. And in order to do business in China, or in order to be a company based in China, you have a tie to the government. There is no choice. It is a communist country. It is not a free market country. I can't just go buy a piece of dirt and sell my widgets at whatever price I decide to. Okay, that's not how shit works. So 40% of Epic is owned by Tencent, and the spin from Epic is, well, it's Timmy's company, and Tim decides what's going on. These other investors, whoever they are, whether they're tied to Chicom or not, they don't have a say in our day-to-day operations. They're totally silent. Yeah, they're gonna put up 40% of your company and fork out lots of money that has commas and zeros in the amount, and they're not gonna say shit about how you run things. Yeah, okay, I'll buy that for $1. So Epic is tied in with some people that I personally am not really interested in doing business with right now, at least not unless I get to set the parameters. They're scraping data from your machine and gobbling it up into their data centers on the promise that, oh, we're the only ones touching it, we'd never do anything wrong. And then they're engaging in predatory anti-consumer practices through these exclusivity deals. No, I'm out on it, man. I think that so many times as consumers, we have abdicated our responsibility and said, it's all good, we'll just take this path of least resistance here, and we don't get our IQs up at all. And it really sucks that we should have to be on the defensive just to execute a business transaction, but that's kind of where we're at right now. We've been in laissez-faire for so long, or condition white, condition stupid for so long, that people have just begun to get by with stuff, and we're asleep at the wheel. And now some folks are starting to pay attention, or much like the political sphere, some folks are starting to get red-pilled, and they're going, damn, this is really how this shit works? So in a way, Epic and some of the folks engaging in practices similar to Epic could be considered a game industry swamp. I'm not going to tell you to not shop with them. I'm not going to tell you what to buy and what not to buy. That's not my MO. What I will tell you is check into it, and check into it in such a way that you don't give in to FUD. Just because somebody's fifth brother, sister's father's uncle's cousin said that this one file was being read, that does not mean we should grab torches and pitchforks and march on Timmy's little headquarters. But do some checking, get informed through sources that you believe to be reliable, and have other people vet those sources if you can't vet them yourselves. Check into what you're spending your money on. But understand that what Epic is doing right now, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, do not take this to be gospel, but what Epic is doing now, in my opinion, is going to be extremely negative for the games industry moving forward. David Brevik posted something on kind of a tangent that dovetails into this, having to do with live service stuff. The industry is changing, and it's not changing for the better. So if you want to keep your playground fun to play on, I suggest doing a couple things. One, get your information up, get your IQ up, and think for yourself as much as possible. Do not drink Kool-Aid. Do not take what people spoon feed you. And think for yourself. The other thing I suggest is that using all legal means necessary, that means we don't engage in internet blood sports, and we're not going to go be violent and pummel anyone, even though some of them probably deserve to have the pummeling they didn't get as a child. We're going to use any legal, ethical means necessary to bring some of these people to heel and understand that it is still a free market. And that when you misbehave in the free market, there are consequences. These consequences don't involve any violence or anything getting broken. It just means people are going to quit spending money with you. So that's my rant. I hope it was informative. We will catch y'all next time. I'm back out here, about to pull up to the job site. I'm going to race some more of these rats. Do what you can do to think for yourself and be a maker, not a taker. We will catch y'all next time.